Hey, Emiliano, how you doing, man?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
Good, good, Frank.
Awesome, man. So you told me earlier you were meeting with a sponsor, and then you went to the gym.
Yeah, I had a meet with one of my sponsors, and after that, I headed back home and took my little sister and went to the gym.
Went to the gym. How was the gym? Are you fighting out of? You're training with the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, or are you somewhere else?
No, right now I'm back home in Dallas. I'm getting ready
Okay.
for a fight this weekend over here in Arlington, and I'm over here training out of Ring of Hope. Ring of
Okay.
Hope.
Gotcha. So normally but normally you do fight out of that Robert Garcia boxing gym. You do train there.
I do train there. Yeah, I go in with either with Vergil, with training camp and things like that. I either go there and train with him, as sparring partner and stuff like that, as well as getting ready for my boxing matches as well.
Gotcha. So I saw that today actually Virgil, some news came out about him potentially fighting against Serhii. I think is Boachuk is how you pronounce his name. Later, maybe in August 10th in Las Vegas. Have you talked to him about it at all, or did he have he mentioned it to you?
Uh, we we haven't spoken about that yet. We just send casual memes and that's about it
Yeah,
right now. So he doesn't really take care of any of that. It's mostly his manager and he just wants to fight whoever he wants to, whoever they put. He fights whoever.
yeah,
So yeah.
gotcha. So I also saw he had some, him and Ryan Garcia made some comments on Twitter and they went back and forth, but we'll talk about that later, man.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
for
First,
sure.
let's get into you, man. So you got a fight coming up this Friday. Tell us a little bit about it, man. Where's it gonna be? Who are you fighting? And what do you expect to put out there as your performance?
Yeah, I'm fighting this Friday in Arlington, Texas. It's gonna be good. It's right in my hometown. Right next to the AT&T Stadium, big arena.
Hmm.
It's gonna be good. I'm fighting. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Latiger or something like
Yeah,
that. Um,
it's Robert Lartigue. Is that his
Something
name?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I seen him fight. I think he fought one of the Luga boys for his pro debut, and um, he made his statement. I'm happy for him. Um, what to expect? I feel like I have way better boxing skills than any of them, any of the Luga brothers, any of especially Robert. So I expect it to be a quick night as well, and and the fight 4-0 with four knockouts.
Yeah. So another knockout. All your fights have been knockouts. But let's get into your younger life. So coming up, growing up, I know you said that you fell in love with that Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez rivalry they had growing
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
I did.
So growing up, what really brought you? Anybody in your family that was boxing, or what really, other than that fight, opened the doors for you there in boxing?
It was just the casual boxing fan and my family that's what they were. They'd only watch the big fights, and we'd all get together, and I guess it was that getting together as a family watching big fights. I wanted everyone else to feel that, when I fought. I wanted I saw myself in under the big lights, and I wanted to get that that same feeling of everyone cheering on for me.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Awesome. Awesome, man. And I totally get that. So you said, I believe you started boxing around 8, right?
Yeah, I started boxing around 8. Yeah.
And when did you really say, "Oh man, I'm pretty good at this," and you started taking it seriously?
You know, um, it was around 11, 12, because I was in between soccer. I was a soccer player. I was a
Gotcha.
pretty good soccer player, and I was trying to play for select soccer, and at the same time, I got the opportunity to fight nationals. It was my first time Junior Olympics at West Virginia, and you know, it was in between. I had to choose in between one, and I love boxing a lot, and I decided to go. My dad told me, you gotta stick with one,
Yeah.
because the training trainings and the soccer matches were the same time as as the tournaments, the weekend local tournaments, and I had to choose one, and so
Yeah.
I ended up sticking with boxing, and I'm grateful I did.
Yeah. I think you made a good decision there, man. So
Yeah.
what position did you play in soccer?
I mostly play I'm righty. I mean, I'm lefty, so I used to play right wing. So, I could cut in the center and take my shots. I was pretty big. I'm pretty tall. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was real big when I was younger. So I'd play center mid and uh and as striker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, nobody could go through me.
And I'm sure
Even
you were
now.
good at I'm sure you were good at headers, man, as a striker too.
Yeah,
You
for
think you were
sure.
better at soccer or you think you were better at boxing?
You know, I was way advanced then for at soccer than for boxing. I kind of sucked at boxing at that time, but something made me decide and go for boxing.
For boxing. So growing up, you told me about that Manny Pacquiao, or I heard in another interview you had with Mo Boxing, No Problem, that Manny Pacquiao was really your role model growing up. So other than him, can you just tell us a couple other boxers that you really loved growing up that you really model your game around or even just liked?
Well, I could say Juan Manuel Marquez was also a big a role model. I watched. He just threw so many combinations and after sometimes he get dropped and come back up and keep going. It was those type of fights or the Turugati or you know
Yeah,
those fights where it gave excitement to the to to the people. It made them want to watch it. It was just always good
yeah,
vibes watching them fight.
yeah. And that rivalry with Manny Pacquiao was the best fights we've probably ever seen, man. Especially that
For
first
sure.
one. That first one was crazy,
Yeah.
man. But but tell me, I also heard that, a lot of the fighters you fought, you wouldn't say they were that big of challenges. You're very confident, and that most of the guys you beat, you were basically better than. But tell me, what was the biggest challenge you faced in amateurs or your pro career so far?
I feel like everybody goes through challenges, all the time, especially if you're an athlete. You're always going through obstacles. It's inevitable to have injuries. So I feel like injuries sometimes are a lot of people don't know when you go in and you have injuries or difficulties and outside the ring as well. And so I think that's the biggest challenge is trying to make sure you still you stay 110% all the time. So I think last year I broke my clavicle. I fractured it. Not too many people know about it,
Yeah.
and that's because I kept it on the low. And yeah, I had to get surgery, and I was out for 3 months, and I was pretty upset after coming off of um, because I was gonna make my pro debut earlier before this year. I was gonna make it earlier, and I was upset. I had to push it back. It was all for a reason. God works in mysterious ways. So that happened, and in a way, I'm kind of glad it did. Open up my eyes. Anything can end in a snap of fingers. And well, I came back and I had lost. I came back. My dad had brought me back to the gym, and in 2 weeks I got ready for nationals. And so one week was just getting ready, and then the next one was just losing weight, basically. And I ended up losing that match against Malachi. I
That's
forgot
the
his name.
that's the one in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah,
Okay, I saw
yeah,
that
it
one.
was that one. And I lost that one. I won my first match and I lost that one 5-0. It was pretty bad performance, and I gave him up another month. I think it was another month, and I came back better than ever. And I won the whole thing. I won the nationals. I even got a stoppage there. And after that, I had made my statement, and I went out to the pros, and well, what better way than to do it?
And you're doing great so far in the pros, man. 3-0, three knockouts. And I didn't even know about that injury that you just mentioned, and I researched you everywhere, man. So
Yeah,
and I couldn't find anything about that. And I believe, every athlete is battling an injury, man. So
yeah.
everyone's got to learn how to deal with that. But are you feeling good now? You think you're
Oh
feeling
yeah,
better than ever?
yeah. I'm 100%. I'm feeling better than ever. Just knocking these fights out, and hopefully um, stay undefeated
Yeah.
for a big, long while.
Hopefully we see a knockout this weekend, man. But how I know you're training under Hector Beltran and Vergil Ortiz Sr., or you're still your coaches. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit how that came, man. How did they come? I know you met Virgil and then got in there with him, but how did the decision of saying, "Hey, I want these two guys," or them picking you out, vice versa, however it went?
You it was, yeah, it was spontaneous. Like I said, we when I was a kid, I was 10. We were training at a Maple Avenue over here. I was training with where Errol Spence and Hooker were training at the time, Maurice Hooker. And after that, Coach Tony Salazar, one of my coaches, and he he's the one who got me and started getting me to start fighting. And we moved into Veros, where Errol Spence,
Yeah,
Vergil, and a lot of Dallas big fighters and from Dallas were made at Viveros. We ended up training there, and it was a whole different ball game. They trained like crazy. They pushed the kids like crazy. It was old school. It was old school
yeah,
training. Hard on the kids, and hard on me, and I was kind of like, the I felt at that time I felt like I was the outsider, because it was so hard and I couldn't keep up. And but I stayed persistent. I showed that dedication. I came to the gym every day. We stayed in there long nights, came on the weekends, missed birthdays, missed a lot of family stuff, a lot of childhood stuff. I missed out on it, but I guess with the team, you become a family, and with Virgil, Hector, and Carlos, and Fernando, oh, especially Coach Karim, we all stayed together as a team and as a family, and yeah, it was just you have that
yeah,
bond, and it was not sort of I want them to train me or anything like that. I knew they were real good. I knew they were real good. I wouldn't want to move,
yeah,
of course, but it was just a thing that I guess it was just fate. It was meant to be.
yeah. Yeah, it looks like you guys really clicked off. And so you mentioned you were at that Errol Spence Jr. camp or training with them. So
Yeah.
did you ever get to meet him, or did you ever even get to spar against him?
Oh no, I was
No.
I was way too little. Yeah, I was way too little. I I was there when he went to the Olympics and all of that, and yeah, I remember I was just a little troublemaker, but yeah, I did get to meet him a couple of times, and he knows me personally as well, and
Gotcha.
as well as Maurice Hooker, who fought Virgil Ortiz eventually, and then
Yeah.
just became my sparring partner recently as well.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
so yeah.
So I know that you had also mentioned that you sparred Virgil a whole bunch of times back in the
Yeah.
day. Um, so I know you also trained there at RGBA, the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, with Jesse Rodriguez. Jesse Bam Rodriguez trains there
Yes.
too, right? So are you familiar with Jesse? Are you friends with him?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I believe I've been knowing him. I met him when I met Virgil as well.
Okay.
I met Virgil at his second fight in the AT&T Stadium under the Canelo and Smith fight, which Jesse also fought.
Okay. And have you? So I know you sparred him before, but have you been sparring at Virgil lately, or are you out of that picture now?
We haven't been sparring, especially because he's been real active. So he's been out of town, especially for RGBA. I haven't sparred him recently, but yeah, he's been my sparring partner for a long time since I was 15. You know,
Yeah.
15 sparring him, and he was already big on 100% knockout. He had 13, 14 fights and all of them knockouts, and sparring him gave me a lot of intel intellectual intellect and knowledge inside the ring as well as outside. He watching him train, the person he is teaches you a lot. Every he got me ready for this moment. For the pros, uh, getting me ready for that every little every little thing counts. Uh, Watching the movements or just being aware, everything, the footwork, everything matters in the pros.
Yeah. And I bet he taught you how to take a really hard punch too, man, because
For sure,
he
yeah.
hits hard. So the only other guy I know that has a 100% knockout rate like him is probably
Yeah,
Better. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of crazy because I'm sparring him, and then sometimes he spars somewhere else, and you just see him knock him out in sparring. It's just it's scary at
Yeah.
times, but I make it out alive, so I'm grateful.
So with all these experienced guys that you've been training um, with Vergil Ortiz, with Jesse Bam Rodriguez, even like I think a Rayo Valenzuela even comes
Yeah.
in there. Uh, what's the best advice, let's say one piece of advice that you've received from any of these guys? What would it be that you'd say?
I guess um, anyone could say this, but coming from them is being focused. One thing, you watch them train, especially when you're in camp over there. You watch them train, eat, sleep, take a dump, and it's all about boxing. Everything's boxing. You're basically closed off in a room, spending your time there and alone, concentrating on what you have to concentrate, and go to the gym 2, 3 times a day, and back to the same thing. It's a repeat cycle, but you just gotta stay focused because it doesn't come easy. You could train so much, but it's having that focus mentality and knowing what you want and who you want to become is real important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I bet they've been great role models, man.
For sure.
So pretty lucky to have such great fighters, man. I mean, great way to start off your career. Definitely,
Yeah.
man. So before we go into your pro career and start breaking it down, tell me, I know you're a one-time national champion in the US and a two-time national champion in Mexico. In that process, um, I know that Travenport loss, you just told me about it, but is that the biggest learning experience for you in that process?
Um, I wouldn't. I would say it was more of a like a it was a push. It was a motivational push. Because at that time. I was real down. I was like I was sad. I wouldn't say I was depressed or nothing like that, but I was just sad and upset at the situation. I had came back from a big injury, and it taught me, that winning after winning that, winning nationals, that it taught me, it's just hard work, and how determined you are and how much you want it. That would determine if you get it or not, if you make it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and you bounce back, man. So that's the important part. Now you're in the pros, off to the future. So I saw, I couldn't actually find the full fight, but your first fight, I saw a reel of it. You knocked him down twice, if I believe,
Yes.
and then he stayed down. So how did it feel,
Yeah.
to finally get a successful knockout in the pros, knowing that you really can transfer from the amateurs and be a successful pro boxer?
You
What was
know,
that feeling?
it was, yeah, it was a surreal feeling then. I had been dreaming from turning pro since I was 16. I turned 19 the night before my pro debut. I had been dreaming that for that 3 years already, and it finally happened, and happened the best way possible. getting a knockout victory in a big stage
You know,
and in
and
front of a large crowd. So I was real happy with the performance. Um, of course, there was a lot of things. I went in there. I was real nervous as well. Uh, I got a little careless. I got caught with a few shots I shouldn't have, and I learned from those mistakes, and they haven't happened since.
yeah, no, and being under those bright lights, like you said, on the Vergil Ortiz undercard in January, right on the big stage right away, man. So that's a great way to enter your your next fight. Actually, two fights after that, if I believe, you fought against Muniz in a smaller
Hmm.
venue, and you knocked him down the first round twice, body shots in the corner. You cut off the ring. And then in the second round, you knocked him down twice again to end it. But tell us a little bit about your strat. That one was actually you actually had to use strategy, unlike your previous two fights. Well, I know your second fight was a little bit easier,
Yeah.
so you didn't actually have a lot of strategy in that one. But in your third one, using a little bit more strategy, tell us about how you cut that ring off, man, and put the power on the body there in the corner.
Yeah, um, he I dropped in. It was twice in that first round, and I thought he was gonna stay down after that, but he got up, and I tried to finish it, but at the same time I try to stay smart and not get cut, not get caught with a punch, you know. So I went into the second round, trying to fight smart. I knew that he would come down eventually. He wouldn't last all 4 rounds since I had dropped him already twice. And so I knew that if it was gonna go all 4 rounds, I had to finish him with the body. I have well, Vergil has taught me real good body shots, and so I use my knowledge, using my angles as well as footwork, and I had to use those liver shots, and he eventually didn't come up.
Yeah. And speaking of Virgil, he just got a body shot knockout, first round knockout earlier this year too. So
Yeah.
speaking of those body shots, man. But what do you think when Muniz, every time you knock him down, it's like he jumped back up in like a second or two. Maybe once or twice, the other two times no. But what do you think that fourth time when he jumped back up again and you were like, oh man, I gotta knock this guy down again before the ref called it? What were you thinking, man?
I just thought he was crazy because he was more mad that I hit him uh after he went down other than
Mhm.
anything. Um, because at this you're in the fight, and you don't see him take a knee. Oh, you see him take a knee, of course, but you see him as he's going down. You just want to get onto
Yeah.
him, and you know, uh, I I kept on hitting him while he was down there, and try and finish it off. But seeing him come up again, he was like, "Man, this dude's crazy. He's real mad." It kind of made me laugh in the inside, but yeah, the ref called it off, and after the fight, he started cussing me out, saying I was hitting him after he was already down, and then behind the head, which I didn't really see, but
Yeah, I didn't see behind the head.
so yeah, so he was upset. It just made me laugh and giggle at the end of the day, but yeah, he was pretty tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy fighters out there, man. So it's good to get to experience a crazy one early to get you ready for
Yeah,
those
yeah.
situations. But so most of your fights, we've seen you fight on the front foot, going out hunting, trying to, knock out the other guy. How do you think you would do in a fight where you would have to maybe fight on the back foot?
Well, you know, um, uh, I would do pretty good. A lot of people don't know that I know how to box real well. I know
Mhm.
how to move around. I know how to, you know, stay active and hit and I get hit. It's a big thing. It was a lot of things I had. That was one of the major things I had to do. When you're sparring Virgil or someone like that, with heavy power or someone bigger than you, you gotta learn how to move around. And so, um, it comes with experience, as well. I think a boxer should have all those attributes, fighting the inside and the outside. I haven't been able to do all that. I wouldn't say it's my biggest forte, of course, but I know how to do it well and a good job. So I think I would do good, and I wouldn't have a bad performance doing that as well.
Yeah. And I'm sure against Virgil, you have to have some sparrings where you were on the back foot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's you don't have a lot of choice there. But so, there's a lot of different boxing styles. I would say, you're a little bit more of an inside fighter, but how would you describe yourself? Would you say you're an inside fighter, an outside fighter, a counter puncher, a boxer puncher? What would you describe your boxing style?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I'm an inside fighter. I have to uh I go in there. I like to bang. I like to stay in the pocket. And I just I like to see him fall. And
Yeah.
that's what I like, as well as as the crowd. They like to see knockouts. It's a show business. That's what it is at the end of the day. And so I gotta make the best out of it. And so I like fighting the inside. I like the action as well.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and I think you love the blood, man. You want to knock them out. So that's great to see from a young fighter, especially yourself. But let's break out now into a little bit more of boxing questions that's going on around the boxing world right now. Number one, Ryan Garcia. He tested positive for ostarine and got a 1-year suspension by the NYSAC. Do you think they made the right decision? Do you think Ryan Garcia was guilty there? And do you think they did the right decision by suspending him for a year?
Well, um, I feel. I mean, if you get caught cheating, uh, that's one thing. I feel like it shouldn't be allowed. Eventually, nobody should be trying to cheat and trying to hurt an opponent. But it's real controversial. You don't know. It was positive, negative, and so I really don't know that call is uh, you know, Ryan is saying one thing, he's innocent, and you have a lot of people saying he's guilty as well. So I couldn't really say if it's a good choice or not. I feel like they made the right decision in calling off 1 year, as a suspension.
Yeah.
Um, because if you have, I mean, you're guilty enough if you're having already positive tests, even though if some come negative, some are still coming positive. That's still coming in somehow.
So, do you know Ryan, or have you not met him yet?
I haven't met him personally, no.
Okay, gotcha. So, I I know, like we said earlier, that Ryan Garcia and Virgil were on Twitter going at each other. You training with Virgil, and Virgil being, two weight classes above Ryan, which is a little wild for Ryan to be calling him out. How do you see a fight between them two planning out?
Man, to be honest, it would be another knockout. It would be another knockout reel for Virgil. I don't see it going past 3 rounds at most. A lot of
Three
people,
rounds.
yeah, I, that's pushing it. I feel, you know, Virgil has a lot of qualities that Ryan doesn't have, and a lot of people don't know who Virgil Ortiz is. He's someone who is very on the low key, doesn't put himself out there, and I'm actually glad, that Ryan Garcia is calling out Virgil. He's putting him on a spotlight. People are gonna want to see who is this guy,
Yeah.
and so, um, but if it were to happen, it would be another knockout, uh, easily.
Yeah, and I think that fight would do really good for Virgil, man, because it would
Yeah.
get him a really good views and turn him into a PPV star, man, which is the break he's basically waiting for, getting that big fight. He's gonna fight Tim Tszyu, which was gonna be an amazing fight on that undercard for Crawford, but Tszyu pulled out because of that cut. So we'll see what Virgil does with this fight he's getting planned for August 10th, see if he signs
Mhm.
that. But let me just ask you another one about, let's just go down to the two biggest fights in boxing, I would say. I'm going to ask you about both of them. Number one, potential fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Who would you pick in that fight, man?
Well, man, so I recently saw this TikTok video of Shakur getting beat up by uh James Wook. Wilkins. He goes by Crunch Time,
Hmm.
and I couldn't believe it. He was, Shakur was saying that, it might be another cause or something was going on, but I just saw that highlight on TikTok. But I used to train with James Wilkins, and he didn't have that power or that pop, and
Surprised you?
Shakur was already he was saying hold up, he was turning around, and that's kind of crazy to see because he doesn't have that pop. Um, and so I was gonna spar Shakur around 2 years ago, but they put me with Zaquim Moses,
Mm-hmm.
his cousin. I don't know if you heard about him,
Yeah.
and they ended up doing 2 rounds, and after that, he didn't want to spar anymore, and neither did Shakur. So, I see Tank demolishing him with that
Okay.
pressure. If he puts that pressure right, which I know he will. So I see him out outboxing him, not outboxing him, but probably ending the night early, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a
I
tough
see.
call.
Yeah, I see the same thing as you, man. Especially with that last performance was Tank was really impressive, and Shakur's last performance was not so impressive. Even though he did come out with the victory pretty easily, it was still running away the whole fight. It's tough to judge a fighter off that. But yeah, I think Tank is gonna wait the first few rounds. Shakur gets some points off him,
Yeah.
and then Tank comes in and puts in the damage, right? But another big fight, more on the Mexican side. The biggest fight in Mexico, even though one is Mexican American, David Benavidez. David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez, man. If they were to fight, let's just pick a weight, 168 for now. If they were to fight at 168, how would you see that fight planning out?
It's tough. It's tough, especially as well. I seen both of the performance recently. I feel like Canelo still has that edge. He's maybe still old, but he has a lot of he has a lot of experience. He has a lot of qualities that I feel that Benavides might also lack.
Mm.
Benavides he's strong, he's fast as well, but it's just tough. It's tough to say. I want to go for Benavides, but at the same time, you know, Canelo still brings a lot to the table, and it's a dangerous fight for both of them.
Yeah. I don't see a back foot from Benavidez, and I don't see head movement. So that's my
Yeah,
problem with Benavidez. And then Canelo knocks out Plant, and Benavidez can't knock out Plant. And then Benavidez can't knock out this guy at 175 either. So that gives me a little bit of, I don't know if that power is really, really there, even though it looks like it's there. I don't really, without the knockouts, I don't know. But let's move on. Just two more questions, man. Which weight class? I know you're fighting at middleweight, right?
yes.
Which weight class are you targeting, to eventually compete for a belt in?
You know, I'm real comfortable at this weight. I know eventually I'll grow up and fill up this, you know, this uh, this weight class, and I'll have to eventually move up. But hopefully, if we can, I'll try and stay at middleweight. I feel like I would want to chase something at 160 before I move up to 168, which is I think is the next weight class. It's a big jump. A lot of big people, just
Yeah.
like Benavides and Canelo. So it's real competitive a fight. I mean weight class, and so I want to choose something over here in 160 before I move up.
So with one more question, actually. So out of all the guys you see at pro, let's say the guys more at the top, like Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlos, Janibek, guys at 160 and 168, Canelo and Benavidez, which guy do you see out there that kind of matches up best for you to get a victory against them? Their style doesn't favor against you. Which guy do you think you could really dominate in the future?
You know, I would want to say Jamal Charlo.
Jamal Charlo?
Yeah,
Why do you say that?
160, right?
Yeah,
I feel
160.
like, or I just feel like, man, I could dominate that. Um, I could do a lot of things in at 160, especially having a big style of, fighting the inside. I feel like that pressure, he wouldn't know what to do. And even then, if he tries to outbox me or counterpunch me, I feel like he doesn't have all those qualities, to beat me. And if he does now, he won't in the future.
Definitely won't. We'll see if he keeps fighting though, man. Supposedly he was talking about retirement online. But finally, go ahead and give a message out to your fans, man. They've all been following your journey. Send them out a message and go ahead and tell them how they can watch your fight this Friday night.
I just want to wish all my, fans, supporters, family as well, friends, get ready. Y'all gonna see some action this Friday. Y'all could tune in through my Instagram as well as on KO Live and through Facebook and Instagram as well. So y'all stay tuned and y'all gonna see 4-0.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching, man. Go ahead and get that knockout for all of us, man. But thank you for joining me, Emiliano. Well,
I appreciate it, brother.
yeah,
Thank you, Frank.
no problem, man. Thank you for joining me. I'll be watching you Friday, and good luck, man. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.